it is going.
Okay, because I'm getting the copy bits for my group. Okay, my name is Sandy, and I can't see my book, it goes on. I've been taking care of babies since I was 12 years old, human babies, doing babysitting, daycare and house, and church nurseries. And about 5 years ago, I decided that they were getting a little bit too heavy for my back, so I decided on four-legged babies, because I love babies. And I've been doing this for almost 10 years now. And I've been told I'm a natural born mama. So I just love babies, so this is why I'm doing this. And when I first started out, there was no information out there. You had to hunt and hunt and hunt, and still you were going, what? So I tried to put something together to where somebody who has never done it before could just pick it up and go. So I'm hoping that's what this will do here. Fostering, as some of you know, is a 24-hour job, 24/7, and with kittens, very much so when you get the newborns. It's just like having newborn babies in the house. You have to, do everything, change your schedule, everything around those newborn babies. And if you've got more than one, it's multiple newborn babies. You will get sleep deprived, especially if you get brand new ones, because you're talking about feeding them every 2 to 2.5 hours around the clock. I luckily have a husband who is working at his place where I don't have to work, so I can sleep on their schedule. That helps. They will take up most of your time. It's a given. You're going to be concentrating totally on these babies. You may need a babysitter at times to get you a network going to where if you need to go out of town for a couple of days or something like that, you can have somebody babysit. That's always very helpful. Your schedule is now their schedule. You have to work around their feeding time and that kind of stuff. So it's not something you can just pick them up, feed them, and go, and then if you get back in time, well, okay, you do, whatever. If you don't, whatever. You have to be on its schedule. But if you're going on a trip and you can take them, feel free. I've taken kittens up to Dallas and back, no problem. As long as you keep on your schedule and keep them warm, they're perfectly happy traveling. They love to cuddle. This is very, very important when you have those babies. They want to be cuddled. They want to be on you. They want to smell you. It's very important for their well-being. Kittens will die on you. That's a given. I mean, just if you get them to be adopted, you're very lucky. It's just a given that you're going to lose some. So don't think, oh, I've done something horrible or I forgot to do something. No, it's just a given. You're going to die on it. Just use common sense, a lot of it. Use the internet for more information. This sheet that I have here is more like guidelines. There's nothing hard and fast that you have to do this particular thing. It's guidelines. Different people do it differently on some things. Terry Lynn, who is the main kitten lady here in Bastrop, does some things a little different. I'll tell you what they are, so you'll have both ways. So this is just basically a guideline to get you started. These kittens come from mamas being killed, either being run over or attacked by other animals. Mama's taken them through mid-transportation from one point to another, and they got found and moved, and now mama doesn't know where they are. Some of them come from an owner who didn't want to spay their cat and didn't want to have to deal with babies, so they throw them away. And so that's where my babies come from, and that's where your babies will be coming from. When they're born, they're about 4.5 inches long-ish, and the good average size for these babies is 3.5 ounces. So that's in the palm of your hand. They're itty-bitty tiny. Their eyes and ears are closed when they're first born. They cannot see and they cannot hear. They cannot regulate their body temperature. So it's very important to keep these babies warm. It's very important. If the cord is still on their tummies, you can shorten it, but don't take it off. Let it come off naturally like a newborn baby. Keep the area clean, but just let it come off like a newborn baby's does. The eyes and the ears will start opening at around 8 days. And then it gets really fun because you have the little eyes looking at you, trying to figure things out. The litter box will start at about 3 weeks. We'll get more into that later. Weaning will start at between 4 and 5 weeks, and we'll get into that later. These little babies keep their stress levels down to a minimum. You know, don't be jostling them around, or just be very careful and very calm with your picking them up and the moving around, and all. Don't be bouncing them around. They need the stress level to be very low, so their little bodies will work properly. Keep them warm. I'm going to say this a lot. Keep them clean. I use the Clean and Pet Bed Warmer, here they are. This is what I use on my babies. Some people will use heating pads. Heating pads are fine, but they can get too warm and they can turn themselves off. So this is, like I said, this is what I use. These also, you can get the adapter for your car to plug into your cigarette lighter, and you can take it with you when you're going on long trips. Otherwise, I also use these. These are wonderful things when you're going on quick trips. You're not going to have access to electricity. These are wonderful. I use these a lot too. Keep them in a covered box or carrier. The box doesn't have to be very big. It can be about the size of this. About the size of this carrier here. You want to cover it to keep the drafts out and to keep the lights low, because those little eyes, when they're first opening and developing, can't take the bright lights right away. So you be very careful with their little eyes. Bedding, burp rags, baby blankets, regular blankets, fleece blankets. The nice thing is you don't have to spend a whole ton of money on this. Go to garage sales, go to thrift stores. You can go to a thrift store, get a fleece blanket, cut it into fours, there you go. So, you know, and you can also get donations. I have gotten donations through my church. Just tell them it's kitten season, this is what we need, and they can bring you stuff. You can also sometimes, if the shelter has extra, they can get you some. I think you will, because you're such a busy shelter, but some shelters do. Singletons, that's a single kitten. They do better if you have more than one, but if you do have just one, spoil the heck out of it. You know, constantly be with it if at all possible. Carry it around with you. Place a stuffed animal that it can crawl on in the bed with it. If you can find tick-tock clocks that make the tick-tock sound, kind of loud, they're the wind-up kind. Wrap it up in a towel so it sounds a little muffled and it sounds like Mama's heartbeat. That will help them relax. Best thing is if you can get another little friend for them about the same age, so they have each other to play with and to cuddle with. Let these babies, after they've eaten, let them cuddle on you, let them play on you, let them sleep on you. You know, for a little while, that won't hurt. Won't hurt anything. As a matter of fact, I've fallen asleep with them on. So they are very much going to make you sleepy, just like having a baby. Have a feeding schedule. Try to stay on it as close as you can. You're going to run over sometimes. That happens. But just try to stay as close as possible. Give them toys when they get older, so they have something to bat around and learn with and socialize them. And that means to, if you can, have friends come over and play with them. If you have children that can come over that are old enough and need supervised, have them come over and play with them. Let them see other dogs. Let them meet other kitties. You know, just keep them busy. Having the TV on will help too, because then they'll be getting used to the noises. Don't worry about how loud it is in there. Get them used to the household noises. Let them have those noises. They need those. Don't cover the kittens themselves, because they've got to be able to move around and move away from the heat if it's too hot, or move toward the heat if it's too cold. So don't cover the kitten themselves. Cover the box. Enlarge the room as they get bigger, so they have more room to play with, and you have more room for their supplies they need, you know, like the litter box and the food and water. Their big room, need to be big enough for the heating pad to go in it, plus some room to get off the heating pad, so they can get away from the heat. So, like I said, heating pads are fine, but you will probably want to put them under the cave or the bed or the crate to keep from getting too hot. And watch them, because some of them they'll only be on for 2 hours now, and then they turn off. Bathing. You can bathe these kittens from day one. I know a lot of people say don't, but as long as you keep them warm, you can. Because sometimes they are a mess. So bathing is okay. Just make sure you get them good and clean, good and rinsed off, and keep them warm. I have a larger carrier that I have a pet hair dryer. I use that for when I have multiples, so I'll just stick them in there and let the hair dryer blow on them. Makes it much easier. Use baby shampoo for daily baths. The Dawn is good if you have fleas and you're trying to get that first zap of fleas, but after that, use baby shampoo because the baby shampoo is easier on their skin. If at all possible, just bathe the dirty parts, like butt baths. Type thing, or the leg or something. If you can get away with it, that's better. If you need to wash faces or stuff, use wipes, a wet washcloth, something like that, just to spot bathe. Like I said, keep the babies dry and out of drafts. Keep the babies out of drafts until they are dry, because you don't want to get them cold. You can use a toothbrush. I have a toothbrush there for when you're drying them to fluff them up. And they like it because it's almost like mom's tongue. So you fluffing them up, getting good and fluffy, and they're really enjoying that. So get you a little toothbrush and just use it to brush them. The bottles, the nipples, or syringe, depending on how big they are and how they're feeding, will depend on really what you use. This is the size bottle. The 2-ounce bottle is normal size. The silicone nipples, I'm not too with them. I use the 2-ounce replacement nipples that you can get online. I also, when they're newborns, Terry Lynn introduced me to something called a Miracle Nipple, and it's Miracle Nipple Mini. It's great for newborns because it's tiny and small enough for the babies, and they're not having to fight to get their mouths around it, and they latch on really easy with those. I have some of those, right here. You can come look at it later. And these are the nipples I use normally. At about a week and a half, that's when I would change it over to the regular nipples, just because they're getting bigger. Have the drip, slowly drip. If it's the hole is kind of off center, have it down toward the tongue. This will help it to not aspirate it. When you're doing the hole for the bottle, don't